So there's a feud going on right now between two black female conservative activists. Obviously, I'm talking about Candace Owens and Kim Klacik. Now, there were a lot of things that were being said about filings that Kim Klacik, about like shell companies and all of this other stuff. And I'm not even getting into that part of the conversation because that's neither here nor there for me. I think that everybody gets the benefit of the doubt. I think that there's a lot of receipts that need to be had, so I'm not talking about that. But the overall conversation, I think, even outside of that stuff, it's about whether or not Republicans decide to show up in places that are typically won by Democrats. Like, obviously, Kim Klacik is best known because she ran for office in Baltimore. And she said that I'm going to run for office as a black woman in Baltimore, and I want to show them that Republicans can show up in Baltimore. And there were millions of dollars that went to her because people believed in her, and they wanted people to see that Republicans can show up in Baltimore. And so there's a lot of people that are making the argument. I know one of Candace's initial arguments was like, well, why should you throw money into Baltimore? Why should you do that? It's like lighting money on fire. There's so many other different places that the money could go to, all of that other stuff. And I think that Republicans have to start showing up in these Democratic cities, in these Democratic strongholds. Because if they're not, then basically you're proving the point what black people and people in these strongholds are saying is that Republicans never show up. And this is not something that is going to make these races winnable in the next 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. But if you start making that dent right now with candidates that are showing up, with money being funneled into it, with spending money there, with showing people that you can show up, I think that eventually we can make it to where we can flip some of these places. But I don't believe in the argument that says that these Democrats have let these cities go to waste, they've let them go to ruin, so we need to just leave them alone. So you can't talk about all of the stuff that's going on as Republicans, we as conservatives, like we can't say that, you know, these cities are so bad for black people and black people are struggling here because Democrats have let them down, and then make the same argument that we shouldn't be showing up for these cities. So that's the part of that argument that I'm gonna take on. Again, I love Candace Owens and I love Kim Klacik. I'm not taking a side here. What I'm taking umbrage to is some of the ideas that I hear coming from certain people that say that Republicans should just not be showing up in these cities. And I do not believe that. Whether or not any of the improprieties that Candace is talking about in terms of Kim Klacik are true or not, I have no idea. And I'm not going to comment on that because, like, I don't know. I haven't seen any of this stuff. I haven't dug into it. I haven't done my own research. What I know is this. Like I said, a part of that argument is saying that African Americans should not show up to these cities that have been failed by Democrats. And I do not believe that is the case. I believe that we need to keep showing up. Republicans need to show that we care. And we may not flip these places in 5, 10, 15, or 20 years, but we need to look at it as a long-term investment.